He's dying. Logan Dax was dying under my hands when the last transport lifted off without me. 2 gunshot wounds, one through the upper chest, one lodged somewhere near his spine. He'd lost enough blood to fill a basin twice over, and his body was doing what bodies do when they've had enough. Shutting down, system by system, like a building going dark floor by floor. I'd seen it before, too many times. The way vitals flatten, the way monitors start their steady march toward silence. Not tonight. The Cannell District outpost wasn't much, a converted warehouse with surgical suites carved out of shipping containers and generators held together by duct tape and prayer. Doctors Without Borders had set it up 18 months ago, back when the region still had something resembling hope. Now the hope was gone, and so was most of our staff. The radio crackled on the counter behind me. Static, then Dr. Yusuf's voice cutting through. "Leo, Warlord's men broke the eastern perimeter. Sweep teams moving this direction. Transports loaded. We leave in 3 minutes." I didn't look up. Couldn't. Logan was fresh out of surgery, vitals still threading the needle between stable and stable enough to move. He can't be moved. Then he dies here. Then I stay. I could picture Yusuf in the transport bay weighing the math. 1 doctor, 1 dying soldier, against everything we'd built here. Everyone we could still save somewhere else. "Leo." His voice was softer now. "This isn't." "Go, Yusuf. Get everyone out." Another pause. Then he said, "God be with you, brother." The radio clicked off. I heard the transport's engines spin up through the thin walls. The whine built to a roar, then faded into the distance, carrying everyone I'd worked beside for the past 8 months towards safety. Just me, a dying stranger, and the distant sound of gunfire getting closer. The lights flickered, generators straining under the load, but Logan's vitals finally steadied. Not good, but not gone. I looked at the monitors, then at the sidearm sitting on the counter where Logan's gear had been dumped when they brought him in. Somewhere outside, men with guns were hunting, looking for stragglers, looking for people exactly like me. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting everything in that pale, sterile glow I'd spent half my life working under. Blood on my gloves, blood on the table. The sharp smell of antiseptic mixing with copper and fear. The lights flickered again. Something in the pattern caught me. The strobe of it. The way the shadows jumped. Yusuf's voice echoed in my head. "God be with you." I remember when it felt like he wasn't. It pulled me backward, away from Logan, away from the Cannell District, back to a Sunday morning in Louisiana. Back to the fire.
Years ago, I had everything. I'd left Chicago, the awards, the accolades, the trauma surgery career that looked so impressive framed on a wall. Somewhere along the way, the shine had stopped meaning anything. So I went home. Hannibal, Louisiana. Local hospital, free clinics. The kind of medicine that doesn't make headlines, but makes a difference. When my grandfather had his stroke, I stepped in to pastor the church I had grown up in. Sunday mornings, preaching to the same families he'd served for 40 years. Wednesday nights, leading Bible study in a room that smelled like old hymnals and my grandmother's perfume. That's where I met Juanita. She was a nurse at the hospital. Sharp, relentless about her patients. The kind of woman who could dress down a surgeon twice her age and have him thanking her for it by the end. She had a laugh that filled rooms and a faith that filled everything else. When she talked to God, she did it out loud without apology, and somehow he always seemed to answer the same way. We got married and had Tanya 2 years later. Tanya, sunlight with legs, Juanita used to say. She had her mother's laugh and my stubborn streak, and she loved painted buntings more than any child had a right to love a bird. We had 3 feeders in the backyard just to keep them coming. I thought I understood blessing, thought I understood God's goodness. I didn't understand anything. She was 5 years old when my world ended. A man named Dwight Murdoch came to town. Veteran, back from a war that had taken something from him that the VA couldn't fix. The system had failed him. Discharge papers and a bottle of pills and a pat on the back. He showed up at the church one night, shaking, asking if there was somewhere he could sleep. I gave him the fellowship hall, sat with him most nights, just listening. He talked about the things he'd seen, the things he'd done, the faces that visited him when he closed his eyes. Once, near the end, he said he wished he could just be with God and be done with it. I told him he already was, that God was right there in the room with us. He'd nodded like that meant something. I thought I was helping. I thought prayer and presence would be enough. That Sunday morning, the hospital called. Car accident, multiple casualties, a family trapped in twisted metal on the highway. I kissed Juanita goodbye in the church parking lot. Tanya was already inside for Sunday school. After surgery on one of the victims, the charge nurse appeared in the doorway. Her face had gone the color of ash. I drove faster than I've ever driven to the church. Ran 3 red lights. Prayed the whole way, begging, bargaining, the kind of desperate prayers you make when you already know the answer and can't accept it. The fire trucks were still there when I arrived. Smoke rising from what had been my grandfather's church. Firefighters holding a perimeter, their faces telling me everything their words hadn't yet. Dwight Murdoch had snapped. He came with gasoline and a lighter, locked the doors from the inside. Someone said he'd been shouting through them while he did it, that Leo was always saying they should be with God, so now they could be with him. I fought through anyway, pushed past the firefighters, past the heat, past the hands trying to hold me back, found Juanita's wedding ring in the debris, still warm, found Tanya's stuffed bear, burned, soaked from the hoses. Juanita had saved 3 children before the smoke took her, pulled them out a window and went back for more. Tanya was in the West Wing, the Sunday school room. She never had a chance. I stood in the ashes for hours until the sun set and the firefighters left and the only light came from the embers. I was still holding the ring, still warm in my palm, even then. I don't know when I stopped feeling it. At some point, the warmth was just gone, and I was standing in the dark, holding a piece of metal, and something in my chest went quiet in a way it never had before. The car accident victim I'd operated on went home to his family 3 days later. I spent the next 2 years trying to outrun God. I quit the hospital, abandoned the church, sold everything that reminded me of them, which was nearly everything, and bought a ticket as far away from Louisiana as I could get. I went everywhere I thought God wasn't. Africa, Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, places where the work was hard enough that thinking was a luxury I couldn't afford. Dark corners in cities whose names I couldn't pronounce. Bottles at the bottom of bars that never closed. If I kept moving fast enough, some nights I almost slept. But Juanita's face followed me. Tanya's face, Dwight's face. I wasn't trying to live, wasn't quite trying to die. I was just running. Rock bottom came in a motel room outside Chiang Mai. I don't remember how I got there. Don't remember the last time I'd eaten. The bottle beside the bed was empty, and I was sitting on the edge of the mattress, staring at the wall, trying to remember why I should bother standing up. That's when the bird landed on the windowsill. A painted bunting, Bright red chest, green back, blue head. Like something a child would draw if you told them to make a bird out of every color they loved. Tanya's favorite bird. The odds of seeing one here, in a country where they don't belong, were impossible. I knew that. I'd been a bird watcher since before medical school, knew their ranges, their migration patterns. Painted buntings don't come to Thailand. But this one was looking right at me. I flinched back from the window. The edge of the bed caught my legs, and I went down hard. Everything on the nightstand went with me, the empty bottle shattering, my bag spilling across the carpet. Clothes and pill bottles and a passport I barely recognized scattered across the floor. And Juanita's Bible. I'd kept it. Couldn't explain why. Couldn't throw it away, couldn't open it. It had sat in the bottom of that bag for 2 years, traveling everywhere I went, untouched. Now it lay on the floor, fallen open. I got down on my hands and knees. The carpet was rough under my palms, gritty with 2 years of cheap motel floors that were all starting to look the same. I crawled toward it and read the page through the blur of tears I hadn't realized were falling. Psalm 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. And in the margin, her handwriting. A prayer she'd written, I don't know when. Maybe before Tanya was born, maybe the week before she died. Lord, when Leo is at his worst, on the hardest days, be near to him. Sit with him in his pain. Whisper truth when the silence lies. Remind him that you have been with him through it all. Through the joy, through the heartbreak. Walk with him still, and remind him his story is not over. I broke. 2 years of running. 2 years of walls and bottles and convincing myself that God had abandoned me, or worse, had never been there at all. And here was my wife's handwriting, reaching across death, across years, across all the distance I'd put between myself and everything I'd loved. His story is not over. I knelt on that dirty motel floor, Juanita's Bible pressed to my chest, and wept. For her, for Tanya, for the man I'd been and the wreckage I'd become. Then I heard a voice. Clear, gentle. The darkness did not hide you from me, Leo. I stopped breathing. Even there, my hand was guiding you. My right hand held you fast. Your story's not over. I surrendered. All the pain, all the questions, all the wreckage of the past 2 years. I gave it over. Not because I understood, not because the answers had come, but because I couldn't carry it anymore, and he was offering to help. I can't do this alone, I whispered. I can't make it out of here without you. The room was silent. The bird was gone. When it had left, I didn't know. The road back wasn't easy. Took months to dry out, years to rebuild. But God was with me every step, even when I wasn't looking. I joined Doctors Without Borders 6 months after that motel room. Mercy work, no glory, no accolades, just service. The kind of medicine I should have been practicing all along. The Canal District Outpost was supposed to be a routine rotation. 3 months in a conflict zone, treating civilians caught between warlords and indifference. I'd done a dozen deployments like it. Then Logan Dax arrived with 2 bullets in him and a look in his eyes that said he'd seen things most people couldn't imagine. I understood that look. The monitors beeped, dragging me back to the present. If I could keep Logan alive through the night, he might actually make it. If the warlord's men didn't find us first. Somewhere around 0300, Logan's eyes fluttered open. He looked at me, at the surgical suite, the monitors, his weapon on the counter. Where's my team? His voice was gravel and blood. Gone. Extracted. Why are you still here? Because you are. I adjusted the drip line. He held my gaze for a long moment, and his eyes closed again, and the monitors settled into their steady rhythm. An hour later, they found us. One of the warlord's men, young, barely 20, wild-eyed with the kind of fear that makes people dangerous. He had a rifle raised, sweeping the room, and when he saw me standing over Logan's body, he started shouting in a language I barely spoke. I'd grown up hunting in Louisiana, spent weekends at the range through medical school, a habit that had raised eyebrows but kept me sane. I fired once, caught him in the shoulder. He went down, rifle clattering across the floor. I stood there a moment, gun still raised. The man groaning at my feet, clutching his arm, blood seeping through his fingers. I crossed to him, kicked the rifle away. I lowered the weapon, bound his hands with medical tape. Then I knelt beside him and started working on the shoulder wound. "More are coming," he spat. His accent was thick, but the words were clear enough. "They'll find you. And when they do, they'll kill you slow for what you did to me. Maybe, maybe not." I went back to work. Pressure. Packing the wound. The bullet had gone clean through. Lucky for him. Lucky for me. He'd live. "Why?" he asked. "Why help me?" Well, some wounds won't fix themselves. I tied off the last bandage. He didn't respond, but he stopped struggling. On the surgical table, Logan's eyes were open. He couldn't speak, too weak, too drugged. Outside, boots, voices, flashlights sweeping through the dark. More were coming, just like he'd promised. I had nothing left. No weapons that would matter against a squad. No escape route, no cavalry coming. The wounded soldier looked at me, then at the door, then back at me. He didn't say anything. I sank back against the wall and closed my eyes. Nothing else I could do. The boots were getting closer, and I was out of moves. And I was so tired I could feel it in my bones. "Lord, I can't do anymore. I need you. Now." Job 1315 surfaced in my mind. Yet I will trust you anyway. The boots got closer, voices right outside. I could hear them checking doors, calling to each other, coordinating the sweep. The wounded soldier opened his mouth to shout. Nothing came out. I waited for the door to open. It didn't. The voices moved past. The flashlights swept away. The boots continued down the corridor, checking every room, except this one. The wounded soldier stared at the door, then at me, then at the door again. His face went still as he leaned his head against the wall. Even the darkness will not be dark to you. The rest of that night stretched into morning. I kept Logan alive, changing dressings, monitoring vitals, talking to him when he surfaced and praying when he didn't. The prisoner sat in the corner, bound and tended, watching everything with eyes that never quite settled. Finally, he spoke. "Who are you?" Dawn came slow and golden through the warehouse windows. When the GSF extraction team arrived, they found me standing over 2 patients, both alive. 6 weeks later, I was back at a Doctors Without Borders station in Peshawar. Different outpost, different patients, same work. I was checking inventory in the supply room when a shadow filled the doorway. I turned, expecting one of the nurses. Instead, I found Logan Dax. He looked different standing up, taller than I'd expected. He moved carefully, still healing and probably always would be. But there was nothing weak about him. His eyes were the same ones I remembered from the surgical table. Hard, assessing, seeing more than they let on. "Dr. Hanlon." I set down the clipboard. "Well, you're looking better than the last time I saw you." I had a good doctor. He stepped into the room, letting the door swing shut behind him. Mind if we talk? We walked outside, away from the bustle of the clinic, into the quiet courtyard where the staff sometimes took their breaks. The sun was setting, painting everything in shades of gold and amber. I asked around about you. Logan said, "The staff who evacuated, they told me you had every reason to leave, every reason to save yourself." "You couldn't be moved," I said. "That's not why you stayed." I didn't answer. I also asked about what happened after, he said. "The man you shot, the one you saved." He turned to face me. "The team thought you were crazy, or stupid, or both. Probably both." "I don't think so. I think you knew exactly what you were doing. And I think you did it anyway. I need that. My team needs that, even if they don't know it yet. I'm a doctor, not a soldier. I watched you shoot a man, stabilize him, and pray us into invisibility." A ghost of a smile crossed his face. "I'll take whatever you want to call that. I need to think about it." Logan nodded and turned to leave. "Go." The word arrived the way it always did. Not loud, not urgent. Just certain. "Lord, are you sure? Go." Then, quieter. "Come." "Wait," I said it before I knew why. "I'm in." Logan stopped, turned. "Yeah? Yeah." He smiled. "You won't be disappointed, Doc. One thing first." I didn't know how to say it, so I just said it. "For whatever reason, I think we need to go to Kabul." Logan went still. "How do you know about Kabul?" "Same way we made it out of Cannel." He studied me for a long moment. Then something shifted in his expression. "We have a GSF forward operating base there," he said slowly. "Off books. Need to know only." A slow exhale. "I wasn't going to mention it until I was sure I could trust you. And now?" He shook his head and laughed, like a man who'd stopped being surprised by things he couldn't explain. "Kabul it is." I didn't know whether to laugh or pray. I did both.